My buddy Tom, he looked like he was holding back tears. He told me about his daughter, how he felt like he let her down, how he wasn't there when she needed him the most. One thing I didn't expect when I got into this line of work, a front row seat to how people navigate life's later chapters, the highs, the lows, the things done well, the regrets, like Tom's. More on him later. Retirement success isn't just about money. It's not just about investments or when it takes Social Security. It's about making the right moves before leaving work for good. And that starts with talking to the right people. Skip these conversations and you can miss financial opportunities. You can pay too much tax or run into unexpected challenges. Worse, you might step into retirement unprepared and end up unhappy. So who do you talk to before retiring? In this video, I'm going to share 5 key people who can help you retire smarter and more securely. Then I'm going to reveal one more person you must talk to, someone many retirees overlook or aren't fully honest with. Let's dive in after I quickly introduce myself. Thanks for stopping by the Retirement Guide channel. I'm Daryl Rosen. My firm, Securement Wealth, helps people all over the country plan for and hopefully enjoy retirement. Hopefully. So retirement isn't specifically on my mind because I enjoy what I do, and it's not like I'm doing any kind of physical labor. Also, I'm still only 43 or something, too young to retire. But if retirement was on my mind, the first person I'd probably need to speak to is my very favorite wife, Jill, and perhaps my sons if they felt like speaking to me that day. Yes, the first people you should talk to about retirement are your family. Retirement doesn't just change your life, it shifts the entire family dynamic. As much as we think about finances, walking out the door reshapes expectations about how you and your significant others will spend time together. Open and honest conversations now are a must and help avoid frustration later. Some key topics to discuss. Where do you want to live? Where are you going to spend those golden years? How will you manage spending and budgeting in retirement? And this one, what will your daily routine look like? It's a big one. Misaligned expectations can create real tension in retirement. One spouse may dream of extensive travel, Jill, while the other looks forward to quiet days at home doing nothing, me. If you don't discuss those differences early, they can turn into frustrations later. And please, do not overlook daily routines. They may seem small and insignificant, but they really matter. Take my mornings, for example. I wake up at 4 o'clock every day for some reason, and I head into the basement for a quiet workout. Sometimes Jill wakes up early too, and since we only have one exercise bike, we're probably both going to be fighting for it at the same time. In retirement, that bike could symbolize something bigger, like if we both need the hair dryer at the same time. You know what I mean. In retirement, a simple routine clash could grow into daily frustration. The real question to ask is, will your schedules complement each other, or will they create conflict? Start the conversation now. So first you talk to your family, and then you talk to a financial advisor. Retirement isn't just about reaching a magic savings number. It's about making sure that number works for the life you want. A financial advisor helps you answer the big questions. Do I have enough? How do I make it last? What happens if unexpected expenses come up? And the most important question of all, can I spend more? Okay, so recently I was hitting golf balls, though hitting might be a bit generous because it was more like putting given how far the ball actually traveled. Anyway, the guy next to me was Tom, who I referenced earlier in this video. Tom had been retired for about 5 or 6 years at that point, and we got to chatting over a cup of coffee, and he admitted something that truly surprised me. He said, I didn't help my daughter when she needed it. He told me he was so freaked out about his spending that he missed the opportunity to spend money on his adult children, specifically his daughter, when she and they needed it the most. He shared how his daughter had to foot the bill for some costly and needed dental work on her credit card, how hard that was for her, how she was making minimum payments and falling further and further into the hole, how he just should have helped her, but he was scared. His biggest mistake, he didn't do a realistic spending analysis. A good financial advisor won't just help you understand if you have enough. They'll challenge you to think bigger. They'll challenge you to think about how you'll spend your time and money. Of course, you can't forget unexpected healthcare costs, which rise, inflation, and chipping away your buying power in the markets. Certainly, they don't always cooperate. But a solid financial plan should be flexible, ready for anything life throws at you. You don't want to be 5 years in retirement looking at your portfolio thinking, oh no. But you also don't want to miss the opportunity to help others like your children if they're nice to you. I genuinely feel that as an advisor, my job isn't just to make sure your money lasts, it's to help you actually enjoy it. I have a front row seat to how people move through retirement. That perspective comes with the responsibility. Yes, we focus on longevity, making sure you don't outlive your savings. but we also focus on livability, ensuring your savings support the life you want. So my go-to question is always, how much spending can your resources comfortably support? Because retirement isn't just about having enough, it's about knowing how to use your money wisely and to be happy. By the way, if you're looking for a retirement plan or for a second opinion, but you don't want the advisor, we do offer fixed rate, flat fee, hourly consulting and retirement planning to help you along this journey. Just go to theretirementguide.com for more details. Commercial is over. Okay, your family and your financial advisor. And before you walk away from your job, you need a game plan for your benefits. Too many people focus just on their 401k or their savings, that account balance over Fidelity, and they don't realize that their employer may offer other perks that they're entitled to even after they retire. One of my clients, we'll call her Linda, she worked for a really large company for about 30 years. And when she was ready to retire, she was so focused on her pension numbers, cost of living increases, and her savings balances that she almost missed out on a major health benefit, one that would have covered a significant portion of her medical costs. She only found out because a friend urged her and begged her to have one last meeting with the HR department. And that conversation saved her thousands of dollars. Just in the last year, my clients have learned something helpful, something they didn't know in each of the following categories. The first is the pension, cost of living details, when it starts and how long it lasts, joint and survivor benefits. Then you want to ask about your 401k. Will you roll it over? What's the best withdrawal strategy? Can you keep your 401k where it is? The biggie, health benefits. Can you qualify for any retiree health care, or do you need to bridge the gap to Medicare? And then I've had clients run into stock options, bonuses, or accrued vacation pay that they didn't know about. Some companies even offer significant financial benefits upon departure. Here's the bottom line on this. Before you officially clock out for the last time, make sure you fully understand your benefits. A simple meeting with HR should be a must and could mean the difference between maximizing what you've earned and leaving some money on the table. So talk to HR. Now, retirement isn't just about enjoying the years ahead. It's also about making sure everything you work for is protected and passed down the way you want. That's where an estate planning attorney comes in to help you. They help you sort through the legal side of retirement, wills, trusts, healthcare directives, and making sure your loved ones aren't left with a financial mess on their hands. I know a retired teacher named Bill. He had spent about 40 years in education. He built a solid nest egg and he assumed that he was all set. I thought a will was enough, he told me. It turns out I had no idea how complicated things could get. He had 3 adult children. When he finally met with an attorney, he realized that if something happened to him, his estate would go through a long and very expensive probate process, one that could take months or years before his kids saw a dime of his money. Worse yet, he hadn't updated his beneficiary designations, we'll get to that in a second, in decades. His ex-wife was still listed on one of his retirement accounts. So here's what I can share with you with my fresh perspective. If you watch my videos, you may know that Jill's parents and my dad all passed away within the last 15 months. It's been great. Keep the following in mind, and yes, I realize we're talking about retirement in this video and not, well, death, but life events like retiring are a wonderful time to make sure your financial house is truly in order. So here are 3 considerations, starting with the most important. Make sure your beneficiaries on all your accounts are correct. Once someone passes away, you can't make any changes, obviously. And I know someone who tried once, you can't do that. In Illinois, the account beneficiaries reigned supreme. So we were able to move my dad's assets very quickly because the beneficiaries were in good working order. If you have a house, it may make sense to hold that house in a trust. One of the biggest reasons to put your house in a trust is to avoid probate. Probate is a wonderful court process that oversees the distribution of your assets after you pass away. It can be time consuming, it can be expensive, and it can be very stressful for your heirs. With a trust, your home passes directly to your beneficiaries without going through that probate process. This means your heirs get the home much more quickly rather than waiting months or even years for probate to wrap up. So here's the third consideration. You may live in a state like Florida or Texas where probate is a bit more friendly, so extensive estate planning isn't as necessary. Or you could live somewhere where the laws are more complex and could involve the court system. Whatever the case, it's not just wealthy people who can benefit from estate planning. The retired teacher I mentioned, Bill, well, he was lucky. He caught these issues before they became real problems. He told me, I wish I had done this sooner. It gave me peace of mind knowing my family would not have to deal with all of this mess after I'm gone. The last thing you want, especially if your children are nice to you, is for your loved ones to be grieving and battling legal and financial red tape at the same time. A simple meeting with an estate planning attorney can ensure your retirement plan is truly complete. Okay, so you got to talk to your family, you got to talk to HR, you got to talk to a financial advisor, you got to talk to an estate attorney and a tax professional, because you want to keep more of your money and avoid nasty surprises. Imagine finally retiring and thinking you're all set, only to get hit with a huge tax bill because you withdrew from the wrong account at the wrong time. It happens a lot more than you think. Different income sources like Social Security, pensions, 401ks, IRAs, they're all taxed in different ways, and without a strategy, you could end up paying more than is actually really necessary. A tax pro helps you figure out when and how to take money out so that you don't bump yourself into a higher tax bracket or trigger unexpected penalties. They can also guide you on Roth conversions, Medicare costs, and help you with the estate planning I mentioned a little bit earlier. The bottom line is a little planning now can save you a lot of money and help you retire with less stress. Okay, so there you have it. 5 key people you should talk to before you retire. But earlier, I hinted at one more. Someone you may be overlooking. I kept you in suspense, but now it's time for the big reveal. That person is you. Yep. Before you talk to anyone else, you need to have an honest conversation with yourself. Sure, you'll hopefully discuss retirement with your spouse. You'll check in with financial advisors, estate planners, and other professionals. But the hardest, most important conversation, the most relevant conversation is the one you have with the person in the mirror. Because no one else can tell you what you really want out of that next phase in life. Before my dad passed away, I met an older retired guy at the assisted living facility where he was living. So this guy was in his late 70s, and we got to talking about life after work. He told me, you know what nobody warned me about? The fact that retirement doesn't give you purpose. You have to bring your own. He spent years planning financially, but never stopped to ask himself what his days would actually look like when the work was gone. At first he loved the freedom, but after a few months he felt lost. He said, if I could go back, I'd spend less time worrying about my portfolio and more time figuring out what makes me excited to wake up every morning. Retirement isn't just about having time. It's about filling it with purpose. If you don't decide how to spend your days, they'll start to blend together. That's why this conversation with yourself matters so much. The questions are, what excites you? What gives you purpose? What will make you feel fulfilled when work is no longer the answer? Money gives you options, but only you can decide what makes the next chapter truly meaningful. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, you might like this one or this one, and I'll see you next time.